It's kind of like that game of musical chairs.
In a payment, I would always tell my clients, hope's not a plan.
You either take a lot of small pains throughout your career or you take really big pains. Have revenues, budgeted revenue for corn and soybean production in the Midwest. If you take out those variable costs, so seed, fertilizer, crop protection, you get left with something called contribution margin. And contribution margin is fun for an economist, but contribution margin doesn't mean a whole lot to maybe your audience. But contribution margin is how much you have left to pay your cash rent, your machinery expense, your labor, your family living, and service your debt. So contribution margin is a pretty helpful measure. But here's the point I want to share is cash rent in the Midwest is now more than that contribution margin. So when producers the last 3 or 4 years have put together budgets, they've got to the bottom of variable costs and said, well, I'm out of money unless I get ad hoc funding. And that ad hoc funding comes much later. So they can't go have a conversation with their landowners and say, I need to lower the rents because my budget doesn't look good. Because the landowner goes, well, you're going to get ad hoc funding down the road, aren't you? And we all hope and we all pray that that happens. But it's kind of like that game of musical chairs. The chairs keep getting moved out. The music keeps playing. And unfortunately, one of these days, producers are going to put in a budget and put in an expectation for an ad hoc program that just isn't going to materialize. And they're going to not have enough budget there to cover all they need. So I think what we've managed to do is add a whole lot of risk to our farm system. It's paradox. We have these risk management tools, but we've added risks down the road. We've added these payments to help producers who are in financial risk, but we're kicking the can down the road. And at some point, we're going to be in a tough spot.
Interesting. Eric, what's your take on the differences?
A big piece for us, our programs have been around. This margin-based program we call AgriStability, it's been around since the early 2000s. Like, it actually was established because of the hog business had a downturn, and it's a margin-based program. And because it's a margin-based program and the rules are out there, we can unlike David, we can do plans around it, and we often do with our clients. We have a lot of clients that come in and look at what's my risk, what's my downside risk. The other thing is, because it's margin based and it's based on it's not based on an area average for a bunch of farmers in a county or an RM or a municipality. It's based on your own numbers. So our best producers have the highest coverages, which, people go, well, I'm having a bad year and things aren't working well. Well, our best producers have the best coverage. And between crop insurance, which is another program that we have that's pretty long and established. I know for your listeners in Saskatchewan, it's a little more political than Manitoba, but in Manitoba, about 98% of producers participate in crop insurance. Those combination, and then we also have the private insurance like GARS, which is again a margin-based insurance program that allows producers to look how well they do, and that's how their coverage is. We can use that to budget, and we have clients that go into the year knowing that they're bulletproof to make money, or knowing what their delta is if they have a bad year, right? So this is, I have to be able to, it's $100 an acre that I'm going to lose, or $25 an acre. And that gives them confidence to go out and do things, and allows them to be farmers and not have to worry. Yeah, we have delays, and when we get payments, AgriStability has some delays, just like David talked about their programs. But if you can run that to a payment, and your professional advisors can say you're going to get $100 an acre or $12 or $50,000, we can take that to the bank and have a discussion with the bank about it, which then again makes everything easier down the road.
So I don't hear you saying you wish we were more like the Americans.
Well, not in those cases. Ad hoc. I've been in the business for 38 years. I've seen ad hoc payments and what happens. We do a march to Ottawa, and everybody says we're not profitable, and they cut a check for every farmer. What that does is it doesn't allow you to plan, because hoping you're getting a payment. I think I would always tell my clients, hope's not a plan, right? You got to kind of run with what you have. So I like now. Lots of your listeners that go, well, it's great, MNP, they make money, they do AgriStability applications for us and all that. Yeah, we do, but we still think it's a good tool, and it's a tool that you need to look at in terms of risk management. And And our producers that are listening here are smart, sophisticated business people.
Yeah.
You know, I speak a lot to clients and farmers, and I tell them quit talk. Like everybody goes, well, I'm just a farmer. Well, just a farmer is a pretty impressive business person. And like I'll do a little MNP example, Dan. We had a discussion about having clients come to an event, and one of our marketing people said, "Well, I don't know if your farmers will qualify because the guy's got to be worth $2 or $3 million to qualify." And I just kind of laughed and went, "I don't have a farmer that's not worth more than that. Like that I deal with."
Did you hear that? You guys are all smart and sophisticated, and hopefully that's, you know, a great thing to hear on a Friday morning. And it's true because we are handling big bucks in this business under tremendous pressure with all kinds of variables and doing a hell of a job, really. Harry Siemens.
I want to
Go ahead.
Let me jump in here real quick.
Please, David.
I think what we have going on in the U.S., and I want to warn all producers, is that sometimes our risk management tools become the thing that get us in trouble down the road. If our confidence is more than our tools provide coverage for, that becomes a risk that we create on our own. And so in the US, we haven't seen our costs. When the cycles in agriculture go up and down, the commodity prices go up and down, our cost structure should come down. Cash rents should be coming down. And we're not doing that. We haven't done that. We're adding risk to the system. When we get really comfortable with ad hoc programs that are going to keep coming, and ARCA PLC programs and lots of crop insurance subsidies, we keep adding risk into the system. And so there's kind of this idea that you either take a lot of small pains throughout your career or you take really big pains at one point in your career. And so if we keep kind of band-aiding over these small issues and we keep papering over them, we're going to have a real system-wide shock at some point in the future, just because we're not building these tolerances. We're not building the resilience in the business. It's all about the business resilience. And I think that there could be some disruption down the road.